Labour 12. The Capture of Cerberus. For his 12th and final labour, Heracles was tasked with capturing Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guarded the gates of the Underworld. As Heracles began his journey, the messenger god Hermes appeared before him. Knowing that Heracles would not be able to navigate the dark and winding halls of the dead by himself, Hermes had come to help guide his half-brother in his final task. He warned Heracles that it would be wise to ask the permission of Hades and Persephone, the king and queen of the Underworld, before taking their dog, as to not incur their wrath. Thanking the god for his advice, Heracles and Hermes made their way to Hades' palace. Approaching the king and queen, Heracles explained that he had been tasked with collecting Cerberus as his final labour. Knowing that helping Heracles would infuriate Hera, who had always looked down on him, Hades allowed Cerberus to be taken, but two conditions had to be met. First, Heracles must use no weapons to capture Cerberus, and second, once his task was complete, Cerberus must be returned. Agreeing to the terms, Heracles set out to face the beast. Just as he had done with the Nemean lion and the Cretan bull before, Heracles grappled with the dog, wrestling it for hours until the beast was utterly exhausted. With his club in one hand and Cerberus in the other, he dragged the dog by its chains and made his way back to the realm of the living. Just before crossing back over the river Styx, the spirit of Medusa appeared before quickly disappearing into one of the Underworld's many tunnels. Turning around in shock, Heracles drew his sword, but when he looked around, he saw standing the spirit of his old friend Meleager. Meleager revealed his recent death, and the two engaged in conversation. Heracles then offered to marry Deianira, Meleager's sister, in honour of his death. Thanking the hero for his offer, Meleager faded back amongst the spirits of the dead. Heracles then delivered Cerberus to King Eurystheus, who once again chose to cower in his jar, a now permanent installation next to his throne. The king poked his head out the top of the jar, and while shaking in fear, agreed to release Heracles from his servitude, granting him pardon for his past crimes. Heracles was filled with joy. He had finally atoned for his crimes and was to be a free man. But before embarking on his next journey, he fulfilled his promise and returned Cerberus to the land of the dead.